You are Locked On Hurricanes POSTCAST. Part of Locked On Sports Miami on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
I got you.
Hey. Oh, my God. The best laid plans. Here we are. We're just going to bring you on right from the start. Miami goes to 7-0, a huge win against Louisville. Alex, and I know you got the network post-game show coming your way. So real quick, I just want to let everybody know that today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. And what a crazy duel it was at Louisville. FanDuel is unbelievable, right? You guys know, place your first $5 bet and you'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Jim Greasehaber, call me Grease. Alex Donner, the host of Locked On Canes. Thank you for being with us here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And Alex, our team, the Canes, goes to 7-0. Some heart attacks, a kickoff return touchdown, all kinds of things that could have gone wrong. Another replay where we're sitting there biting our fingernails off. The defibrillators are out. But in the end, 7-0.
Yeah, Grease, you mentioned FanDuel. I hope people out there had been taking the opportunity to bet the over on FanDuel for every Miami game. If so, you're watching us from your yacht right now, and congratulations to you doing that. As far as that, the replay you talked about, we were texting each other. That was it was clearly a forward pass by Cam Ward who got hit as he threw. But of course, the ACC officials have to make it very dramatic. They somehow called it a fumble return and a touchdown on the field, which was ridiculous. They then had to review it for several minutes. They ultimately got the call right, which I was happy about. And by the way, Cam Ward, what a performance today, Jim. And what he did today that he hadn't done the last couple of games was he kept his turnovers down to 0. Miami had one offensive turnover. That was Mark Fletcher fumbling, not Cam Ward. Ward goes 21 for 32. 319 yards, 4 touchdown passes, 0 interceptions, had a couple of important runs as well, including he picked up a first down on a 3rd and 17 with his legs, which was just incredible to help ice the game at the end. I was super pleased with how Miami's running game performed in this one. Let me see what the final rushing stats were. Miami ran for 219 yards in this one.
They lost 3 taking a knee. They lost 3 taking a knee at the end. They were
That's
up over
right.
220. Yeah.
It would have been 222. They lost 3 taking a knee. Still a job well done. Mark Fletcher started the game, did well. Damien Martinez, he carried 11 guys into the end zone for what turned out to be.
That was one of the best runs I've ever
touchdown.
seen at the U. That's up there with some of the best runs I've ever seen. I mean, can you think of one? Frank Gore in overtime against FSU. There have been some runs. Edgerrin James had a few for sure, but that was, and he ran like that throughout the game. And Alex, I thought that was a huge key because the way the offensive line imposed its will, we talked about it in our pre-show this week. They imposed their will. They literally took the soul from the Louisville defense, and it took every bit because our defense was shaky and suspect again.
Yeah, and that's the unfortunate reality, Grease, that we have to start. And listen, there's 2 ways to look at this, and they're both right? Miami can be thankful that they're 7-0. They're very much in the hunt for the ACC championship game. They're very much in the hunt for a college football playoff berth. You've got the best quarterback in the country. You've got the best offense statistically in the entire country. But the defense, like I was telling my friends during the game, it's like Miami right now, they've got a championship level offense, but an FCS level defense. And, it's a bit of an exaggeration, but the pass coverage has been an absolute liability throughout, really the last 3 games, which have been, the toughest opponents you faced all season. So it's definitely become a trend, not taking anything away from Tyler Shuck and the Louisville playmakers. Like, you got to see Ja'Cory Brooks and Colin Lacey on full display, and Isaac Brown scored. It was a lot like the touchdown that Florida scored against Miami, another defensive breakdown on the long run. So Miami's defense is an absolute liability. The bye week didn't fix it. And honestly, Grease, for this game, and you did have a couple timely stops, which was great. So it wasn't like the defense gave up touchdowns on every single drive. Mm-hmm. You did have a couple of important stops, but really the difference why this game wasn't a huge comeback like the last couple games were, it was mostly because the offense played better, that the offense didn't dig a hole, but the defense was giving Louisville every opportunity to answer and make plays. So I'll leave you at that. And I don't want to sound like I'm on a down note or anything. I'm so happy about the way Miami played, but I think when you've got a 7-0 top 10 team that's probably going to move even higher, maybe they'll be in the top 5, by tomorrow afternoon. you can start to scrutinize things like that. And you can say, well, we don't want the defense to be the Achilles heel that keeps us from winning the ACC or getting into the playoffs. So I think that's where I'm at right now.
Jersey's undefeated still, Alex. Devin Hester. We still didn't get the special teams touchdown, but we got the fumble recovery, and we got the defensive touchdown that ended up being the difference in the game. Been waiting for that one. Huge win at Louisville. I know you'll have a lot of things ready for the audience as you get ready for a big week. You got the QAM show now, and then Locked On Canes. Alex Donald, always a pleasure, man. Great having you. What a resource we have in you to have you right after the games on the show. Kill it on your post game, and we'll be watching all week Locked On Canes.
You too, Grease. Have an awesome rest of your show, man. I'll see you next time.
Alex Donald, the host of Locked On Canes, right here exclusively. Locked On Canes postcast. Jim Greasehaber, call me Grease. We're both alums. It's all about that. Yeah, the offense was much better today. They did not turn the ball over on the opening drive of the third quarter as they had done in the previous two games. But again, oh my Lord, with the replay. The replay when Cam Ward threw that ball, man, it was late in the game too. And I have every single thing written down here. It was unbelievable, man. It was Ward to Restrepo throughout the day. Should have been 3 touchdowns for Xavier Restrepo. Unbelievable. But the touchdown was called back from Louisville, and that was because Cam Ward's arm was moving forward. And then they punctuated the drive. It was 2 scoring drives, guys, in the second half that ate up almost an entire quarter of the second half. And it's a good thing because our defense couldn't stop Louisville from doing anything. So what does Cam Ward do? He puts together 2 10-plus play drives. He puts together 2 6-minute-plus drives. 6-minute plus, okay? 6-minute-plus drives, 10-play plus in the second half. 1 to start the third quarter, no turnover there. And then obviously the one that put the game away late and made it 52-38. Cam Ward put the game in his hands. He ran for a couple of big first downs when he needed to, right on the button, especially on third down. Right on the button. But there was one key play in this game, and I want to get to it right now so I don't forget it. It literally was the play of the game, and it's the turning point, and we're going to have that for you a little bit later in the game. I mean, look, you had bad penalties today. You had a touchdown called back on a penalty. You had a penalty right after that made a field goal longer than it had to be. Luckily, he made it. There were a lot of things you could look at in this game. The secondary, 2 pass interference, well, 1 hold, 1 PI on 4th down and 8, right? 2 times that happened. And you just can't have those things, right? You just can't have those things. But Ruben Bain played like a beast. He's healthy. Jalen Rivers back. He's healthy. The run game finally with Damien Martinez, the fumble from Fletcher notwithstanding. But Martinez and Fletcher and Allen and Lyle, and Cam Ward when he needs to. And Cam Ward, by the way, 319 yards in this game, 4 more touchdowns. And the last 2 touchdowns were rushing touchdowns. But 300 yards plus, 3 touchdowns plus in the first 7 games of the season, all 7 for Cam Ward. Whoever doesn't have him number 1 on your Heisman ballot right now, I don't know what to tell you. They don't make enough medication for me to recommend to you for something like this, okay? So that's something that I'm really looking at with Cam, and I'm saying, hey, 7 straight games of 300-plus yards, 3 touchdowns or more. Guess how many Miami quarterbacks have done that before Cam Ward? At quarterback you. None. 7 games, the first 7 of the season, 300-plus yards 3 TDs or more. And unbelievable. You have 2 pass interference penalties on 4th down. You have a touchdown callback. You give up a kickoff return for a touchdown. And no matter what has happened at Cal, no matter what has happened against Virginia Tech, no matter what happened today at Louisville, it really came down to 3 replays, and we got the call on all 3. The touchdown that was taken off the board never should have been called a touchdown with Virginia Tech. The Cal game last, and then, of course, this one. 3 games in a row with just nail-biters for replay calls and absolutely crazy. But a big, big win for Miami and for Cam Ward, and it just keeps on rolling, and we're just lucky we have him. We're just lucky we have him. But that offensive line gaining confidence and Mario Cristobal going forward on 4th and 1. At his own 34-yard line, right as the tide has turned. We're going to pick up on that on the other side. Mario Cristobal with some incredible coaching today. Had it not worked out, it might not be talked about like that. We'll pick it up on the other side. This is your Locked On Canes postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. My name is Jim Greasehaber. Call me Grease, and I am going to tell you what right now. 3 games in a row surviving a scare. On the other side, we talk about the brilliance of Cam Ward and the gutsy calls of Mario Cristobal. This is your Locked On Canes postcast. And I get a chance to talk to you about a brand new sponsor here on the show. Absolutely. And they are here with us now. Guys, sometimes those intimate moments, right? They happen spontaneously, and we always want to be ready so we can perform in the bedroom, right? We all want to perform in the bedroom. Hims provides access to treatments that can help you stay hard and last longer, giving you that boost of confidence so you can be ready whenever the mood strikes. Your sex life is important, right? But the schedule's busy. You don't have the time to go to a doctor's clinic to get treated for ED. Through Hims, you can get a personalized ED treatment without stepping foot outside your door. Hims is changing men's healthcare by providing you with access to affordable sexual health treatments from the comfort of your couch or wherever you are right now. Hims provides access to a range of doctor-trusted ED treatments like chewable hard mints, Viagra, Cialis, and their generics for up to 95% cheaper. The process is 100% online, so there's no need for uncomfortable doctor's visits. You just answer a series of questions on their site. A medical provider will determine the right treatment option and see if they prescribe anything, right? If they prescribe anything, they will ship it directly to you in discreet packaging for free. So no insurance needed. One low price covers everything from treatments to ongoing care. That's right. With hundreds of thousands of trusted subscribers, Hims can help you find the ED option that works for you. Start your free online visit today at hims.com/lockedon on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Jim Greasehaber, call me Grease. Thanks to Hims, brand new sponsor on the program. How about that call by Mario Cristobal? How about all the crap he took, all the things that were going wrong in this game? You talk about a kickoff return for a touchdown for Louisville. You talk about all the things that happened in that third quarter. It's 14-14 in the third, 14-14 in the fourth when Louisville got that, kind of junk touchdown late and they had the onside kick, and who knew what would happen there. But when Mario Cristobal rolled the dice, and they did get a big stop, make no mistake about it, they did get a big stop. So Miami goes down to start the third quarter. It's 24-17 Miami at halftime, and we had a lot of things happening in that first half. You had the opening drive with the touchdown called back. They had to settle for the long field goal, and that happened early in the game. You had the field goal of a 34-yard drive, by the way, and that was a super long field goal that didn't have to be 55 yards. There were two penalties in a row on that play with Restrepo, and the play after that with a false start. So Miami scores to start the game, a field goal after they forced a 3-and-out from Louisville. Louisville goes down after that, scores a touchdown. Miami comes back with a touchdown after that. You know what I'm saying? They had the defensive touchdown, the fumble. You know what I'm saying? That Louisville, and that was a big play for the defense. First fumble recovery of the season. They have 10 interceptions. That was the first fumble recovery. So they punt. It's the end of the half. 24-17, they lead. They come out. First drive of the third quarter. The last two games resulted in a turnover for Miami. This time, no. 14 plays, 75 yards, 6 minutes, 39 seconds. The touchdown at the end of it. And what a drive by Cam Ward. Xavier Restrepo, 9 yards for the TD there. And that was huge because Louisville, you know what I'm saying? Like 14 plays, 75 yards. Louisville, no plays, no yards, the kickoff return, and bang, just like that. You know what I'm saying? It's absolutely crazy. And this game it was 24-17 at halftime. Just like that, it's 31-24. Louisville scores again after Mark Fletcher fumbles. And Tyler Shough with a beautiful play to Ja'Cory Brooks, 21 yards on the touchdown pass, the secondary, giving them openings all day long and then committing penalties when they didn't. But then Cam Ward, 6 plays, 75 yards in 340. Unbelievable. 63 yards to Restrepo. This was the drive when it was just absolutely crazy for Miami, because when you think about what was happening to start that third quarter, they get the touchdown, they give up the touchdown on the kick, they fumble the ball, Louisville gets the touchdown, right? You get the ball 1st and 10 at your own 25, okay? At your own 34-yard line with 4:38 left in the third quarter, everything's going wrong. You had the kickoff return for the touchdown. You just fumbled the ball. Louisville's got all the momentum. They get the stop there. You might get stomped out of this yard. And Fletcher runs for 1 yard for the first down on your own 34. Guts of steel for Mario Cristobal. And then on the very next play, Ward hits Restrepo, gets hit as he throws the ball 63 yards to Restrepo, and a first down there. And then Isaiah Horton, 2 yards for the touchdown. But that play by Mario Cristobal, we'll talk about that in the third segment, where we give you the graphics and the player of the game, star of the game, the final score graphic, and all that. We got a couple of co-stars of the game today. But that was huge. That drive ends in a touchdown, the big play from Ward. Louisville comes right back and scores again. 13 plays, 75 yards. Unbelievable. Penalties helping there. We come right back. 5 plays, 80 yards, 205. And we score. Ajay Allen, a 2-yard run after a 9-yard run. And a nice drive there by Cam Ward. Sam Brown with another big reception. He had a huge touchdown in the first half, 59 yards. We'll give you the stats in a second. But Miami, again, scoring touchdowns. I mean, look, after the fumble, touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. Touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. You had the arm going forward on the call. You had Cristobal's play call. And that was unbelievable. And Mario Cristobal, as an offensive lineman, as a guy who was here during the glory years, as a guy who blocked for some of those running backs, like in back in those days, like Conley, you know what I'm saying, and Stewart, and some of those real good running backs back in the early 90s when we were winning national titles and competing for them every year, right? A lot of that success was predicated and came off the run game, even though Erickson always had more wide receivers, not as many tight ends, one back in the backfield, but a lot of that success was predicated off the run. Now, today, they had 219 yards on the ground. It was really 222. But that, and they lost 3, killing the clock at the end. But when you think about Ward picking up the first downs when he needed to, Damien Martinez on that 30-yard touchdown run. Early in the game, he had another run just carrying. It was on a 3rd and 3, carrying tacklers. They're on his back. He's 230 pounds. Fletcher's huge too, carrying tacklers. Then the offensive line gets involved, and they're pushing them down the field. That touchdown run is one of the greatest runs I've ever seen at the University of Miami. It put the game away, and that was it. Thank you for watching Locked On Canes Postcast. Jim Greasehaber, call me Grease, on the Locked On Podcast Network, presented by FanDuel. It's your team every day. 52-45. Number 6, Miami, remains undefeated with a big win at Louisville. Played them to a stalemate in the second half. Louisville had a kickoff return for a touchdown. Miami had a touchdown called back from an offensive penalty where they had to hit a long field goal on their opening drive. And yeah, they did have some costly penalties, including 2, 1 hold, 1 pass interference on 4th down and 8s for Louisville that were converted into first downs by the penalties. But so many positives today with Bain coming back, with unbelievable Jalen Rivers back in the lineup, and a nice job by Miami all the way across the board today. Real quick down the stat sheet, Cam Ward, 21-32, 319, 4 touchdowns. Damien Martinez still looking for his first 100-yard game, 12 for 89 and a touchdown. Fletcher Jr., 13 for 73. Allen, 5 for 31. Ward, 7 for 29, picked up a couple of big first downs. Samuel Brown, a long touchdown and another super long play, a 59-yarder. He had a 59-yard play, and he also had a long touchdown, 3 for 125 in the score. Restrepo, 7 for 101 with the touchdown. The long of 63 really had a couple. He had 1 called back. Isaiah Horton with the TD, and Jacoby George with the TD as well. So big games for the receivers. Fletcher lost a fumble. It was a big one in this game. No special teams touchdowns again. Borregales, 1 for 1. Field goal attempt, 55 yards out. If you've taken the over in Miami on every game so far this year, you are sitting pretty. Alex Dono said you're sitting in a house on the Intercoastal, maybe the Bay by the end of the year. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the Bay. Isaac Brown had a big touchdown for Louisville, lost a fumble. First defensive fumble recovery of the year for Miami, led to the touchdown in the end zone, and that was a big, big, big play. A huge play, man, and that was awesome. Really, the 2 guys get there and hit them, you know, and then, you know, they score. It goes in the end zone, and you fall on it for the score. But a huge, huge play. Huge play on that one by Miami. And when you think about the games that were played within the game today, and coaches talk about all the time, the game within the game in each little area. Miami won the running game. Miami won, and Barrow Jr. was the one with the big hit there on the fumble. Miami won almost every battle in this game. When you look at the team stat sheet, right? You look at the team stat sheet. And this one was won by Miami, and 27-24 in first downs. The big thing was total yards, 110 more. That was all the run game, 219 to 106. The passing game, almost a dead heat. You give Shuck a lot of credit playing Cam Ward virtually even. Miami, 5 for 55 on penalties. Louisville, 6 for 38. Time of possession, 9 more minutes for Miami. That's because they outrushed them so badly. That's what it was. That's exactly what it was, 219 to 106. The passing yards, Louisville won 342 to 319. So it was the running game that carried the load for Miami today. Cam Ward gets it done in the end, but the running game was huge for the Hurricanes. You are watching Locked On Canes Postcast. My name is Jim Greasehaber. Call me Grease. I'm really pumped to have you with me today. As always, Alex Dono, Locked On Canes during the week. And then, of course, we have the Locked On Dolphins Postcast tomorrow. They play at Indy, a 1 p.m. start in the MIAO. And we will wrap it up on the other side. We're going to give you the star of the game. We're going to give you the turning point. Maybe stars of the game. We're going to give you the turning point. We're going to give you the final score graphic. And we are going to look ahead to No, get out of here, Seminoles. Hey, next week is the week, though. Rivalry game, going to be a war at the Rock, and you don't want those Seminoles messing up your season right now, and they could do it. They could do it. You're watching Locked On Canes Postcast. Jim Greasehaber, call me Grease, wrapping it up on the other side on your Saturday. Raise those U's up, Miami, 7-0, 52-45. Another nail-biter. They win at Louisville. Wrapping it up on the other side, Locked On Canes Postcast and Locked On Podcast Network. Your team, you. I'm talking to you. Your team every day. And you know it's NFL Sunday tomorrow, so NFL fans, I'm talking to you. Talking to you. Getting to that point again. We're going to get to that point again in the next 10 years. Not going to be able to turn on a game without seeing multiple Hurricanes dominating on the football field in the National Football League. So that'll be a good thing as well. But NFL fans, you can start the season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. So when you get a hunch in the middle of a game, you know what you can do. You can check the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That is FanDuel.com on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Jim Greasehaber, call me Grease. Wrapping it up on your Saturday. Oh, baby. The Canes with a huge win, man. 52-45 at Louisville. Just an awesome display by Miami in this game today on offense, running for 200-plus yards, literally, almost. And we're trying to add a couple of features here. Hold on. The upload is taking too long. Of course, it always does. We'll get that up here for you. We will get that up here for you ASAP. We know it'll work out for us eventually here to get that overlay up. And for some reason, sometimes it just doesn't want to upload. And there it goes, right? There it goes. So we will get at least the stars of the game going here and get that for you. But an unbelievable, we just gave you the numbers. We gave you the stats, obviously the player stats, and then the team stats. We didn't hit the defensive stats for you, but I'll tell you what, man, so that defense was not great today. Not great at all today. Really just not good if you think about it. Not good. The secondary is a big cause for concern. Huge cause for concern right now. I mean, it's as big of a cause for concern as I can imagine, because you're talking about a team that you got FSU, and we'll talk about the schedule. Georgia Tech's on there, the conference championship, which would be Clemson at this point, and you might not get 2 in, right? With Miami, they're going to have no wins over a ranked opponent until a possible matchup against Clemson. And if you lose to Clemson there, you don't have a ranked win, and you're not getting into playoff, I don't think. I don't want to talk about that now. I don't want to think about it now because they had to win the game today to get there, right? Those wins over Virginia Tech, over Cal, and over Louisville, in the eyes of the media, in the eyes of the people who vote, those should have been blowout wins. But you found a way to do it every single game, overcoming turnovers, making big plays. And the one common denominator in every one of them has been Cam Ward. When the ball's in his hands, again, 2 drives that were 10 play plus, 6 minutes plus, touchdowns on the last 3 drives. All that in the second half. When he knew the defense couldn't stop Louisville, the crowd, the momentum, everything, he knew that. He knew that. The coaches knew that. Mario Cristobal and the staff knew that. So what did they do? They took the air out of the ball, took the air out of the stadium with those long drives. And with that, we will get to some of these graphics they all uploaded. Let's start with the final score graphic. And look at that right there, baby. How about that, Canes fans? Look at that, 52-45, the final at Louisville with the win there for Miami. And what a nice win that was to go to 7-0. And we are going to give you the stars of the game last today. Let's talk about the moment in this game. And this was the biggest moment in the game. It's to me, it's the third quarter. You had just given up a kickoff return for a touchdown. You had just fumbled the football, and Louisville had just scored again to tie the game at 31. All right, you were up 24-17 at halftime. You scored to start the second half. You're up by 2 scores. They come back and score again, 31-24 on the kickoff return. You come back, you fumble, they get a touchdown, it's 31-31. Good Lord, everything's going wrong. The crowd's screaming, the team's rattled, or are they? Not when number one gets the football. But even with Cam Ward, incomplete to Mark Fletcher Jr., right? Or complete on the first play, rather. After the kickoff, 5 yards to the 30-yard line. On 2nd and down, Fletcher runs for 3, an ankle tackle, or he would have had the first down. 3rd and 2, Fletcher runs for 1. And Fletcher had just fumbled, by the way. Cristobal went back to him. So here's where Mario Cristobal shines the most. He literally, cojones, a steal. 4th and 1 at the Miami 34. They go for it. Fletcher barely gets it, runs to the right. Think of what could have happened. You're at your own 34. You had just given up a kickoff return for a score. You had just fumbled and given up another touchdown. Everything is hemorrhaging. He knew at that moment. He knew. Mario Cristobal knew the only chance they had, or the best chance they had for sure, was to try to pick up that first down. He went to the run game. He believed in his offensive line. The confidence that he showed carried over, and they dominated the rest of that game. They dominated. The offensive line dominated the rest of the game. Thanks to that call by our first star of the game. Yeah, that national media loves to say he's not best in game. And I'll tell you what, the confidence he gave his offense, the belief he showed in Cam Ward, who was the one point saying, no, we're going. We're going, coach. Mario had the sense to listen to Cam and to dial up that play, to trust his offensive line. Several other times during this game, 3rd down and 2, 3rd down and 3, 3rd down and 5 even, they ran the ball. That kind of confidence is why you run for 222. It ends up 219. That kind of confidence is why Martinez is bullying guys into the end zone, carrying them on his back, and just destroying people because of Mario Cristobal. That call on 4th and 1 at his own 35 in the 3rd quarter when everything was going wrong. What a call. What a play. What a win. And our number one star of the game is number one in the program and in our hearts. I mean, come on. Who else? Come on, 319, 4 touchdowns. The general, Cam Ward, opens the second half with a 10-minute plus 6-minute plus drive, right? And another one later in the game, in the 4th quarter, that sealed the deal. That kind of a drive. No turnovers today for Cam. What a performance. Just masterful, running for first downs when he needed to. Every play on 3rd down, it seemed like on a conversion play, the ball's right there. He had a couple of plays that weren't right there, but on the conversion plays, they were. And Cam Ward, unbelievable, just astounding his play this year. And again, I said it, I'm going to call you out, whoever you are. If you don't have him number one on your Heisman ballot right now, you got problems. I don't care what you've seen from Milroe. I don't care about the running back from Boise State. He plays at Boise State against a bunch of nobodies looking like peewee teams trying to tackle him. That's not a Heisman winner. Right? See Gordy Lockbaum back in the day at Holy Cross, although Boise State a little bit better than Holy Cross. It might be a little bit of a reach on the analogy, but you know what I'm saying? Let me just do this again. Mario Cristobal. There you go. Giving that offensive lineman some confidence. Picking up that first down on 4th and 1 in your own territory when you are hemorrhaging. Mario Cristobal, big time coaching today. Big time in that game. They made adjustments. The penalties were way down. They had some defensive penalties, holds, pass interference, because I couldn't cover anybody. They had a touchdown call back from an offensive penalty, but false starts, things like that, I think they only had 1 or 2 today. 6 penalties overall, or 5, I believe, 5 for 55 yards. So they had a couple of bad ones for sure, but really cleaned up some of the stuff over those past 2 weeks, cleaned up the turnovers, much improved, cleaned up the tackling. The secondary is still a big concern. The secondary is still a huge concern, but a win is a win is a win, and you got FS who? Up next, the Florida State Seminoles. All that talk before the season about, hey, this team right here is going to be good. They're going to be a top 5 team. They might make the playoff. They have fallen off the face of the earth. They're 1-6 and 1-5 in the conference. No team came into the season with higher expectations, only to soil themselves worse than the Noles did and have. And so they come into Miami. They'll be a huge underdog in this game without a doubt. Miami is a 90.7% matchup predictor to win there. And you know that it's not going to be that easy for Miami in a rivalry game like Florida State. But hey, Miami beat Virginia Tech 38-34, 39-38 over Cal, and now 52 to 45 over Louisville to complete that. And what a game it was for Cam Ward and the offense. One more time for the Miami Hurricanes, 52-45. Don't forget, tomorrow we'll be here, Locked On Dolphins postcast, right after the Colts game, which starts at 1 p.m. Eastern. And that's right, next week, right after the FSU game, 7 p.m. Eastern, we'll be here with Locked On Canes postcast after we win that one and go to 8-0. Cruise control, baby. Keep it going to the conference championship. No more nail biters, no more replays. Let's get rid of all that. But Cam Ward, number one in the program, in our hearts, and in the Heisman race. Again, 319 yards, 4 touchdowns today. The run game goes for 220. Unbelievable performance by the offense. Defense has been really bad these last 3 games. And we gave up a kickoff return touchdown today, and we had a touchdown call back. So really, this should have been everything. Win, cover, over, everything should have been a blowout. But letting those teams back in games, and you're winning them. You have to. If you're going to be a national championship contending team, you're going to have at least a couple of games like this. And they've won them 3 in a row. Let's not have any more. Check out Alex Donald, Locked On Canes every day this week. And remember, next time, yeah, baby, next time you're watching Locked On Canes, just remember, every single week, Alex and I do a crossover show on Fridays to preview the games. And every single postcast, he comes on with me as well. And that's going to do it for us here today. Jim Greasehaber, call me Grease on the Locked On Podcast Network. 52-45. Miami beats Louisville to go to 7-0. Thank you for making Locked On Canes postcast your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the Locked On ACC podcast. My boy, Locked On Canes host Alex Dono and Kenton Gibbs keep it real and bring you the truth about where your favorite ACC team stands within the conference. Find Locked On ACC on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. That's all there is, Canes fans. There is no more. Locked On Canes postcast presented by FanDuel. Jim Greasehaber, call me Grease. 52-45. They win at Louisville. 7-0. If Georgia loses to Bama tonight, looking at number 5, top 5, first time in a long time. Let's go, baby. It's all about that U. It's all about that U. 52-45 at Louisville. Keep your game tight and your mind right. Canes fans, you. Game tight, mind right. Jim Greasehaber, call me Grease. I'm out.